I'll tell you one real thing about resilience. My maths GCSE, I'd done that 4 times before I actually passed. I passed on the 5th attempt. But I said to myself, I'm not getting defeated by a maths GCSE. I used to be terrified of numbers. I saw numbers and literally shivers would just go right down my spine. But now I run my own businesses. I chew up numbers. I love numbers. I'm always on my calculator. I'm always on paper working out numbers. What's up and welcome back. How are you enjoying the quarantine period? It's a bit crazy for everyone. For guys, no haircut, and for girls, no comment. Anyways, so today I'm going to give you 5 ways that I stay productive and efficient and motivated. Let's get into it. Number one is routines. I have a saying, and by the way, I created this saying myself. I love to come up with quotes and stuff. But anyways, I have a saying that goes, routines are synonymous to success. And you're probably thinking, what do I mean by that? So if you study every successful person or anyone that's an expert or great at in their chosen field, you'd notice that there's one common factor. They have routines. They have a way of doing things. They have a way of approaching problems. They have a way of planning stuff. They have a way of building strategies. And for me, that's what routine is all about. It enhances you, and it gives you. It helps you be more creative. It helps you be more productive, and it actually helps you complete a lot more. If that makes any sense. So it could be how you plan your day. It could be how you plan your year. An example being right behind me, I've got my quarterly planner where I write down my yearly goals, breaking it down into quarters, and that's how I do it. I have something on my wall there where I call it morning rituals, where it's almost like when I wake up in the morning, a set of 5 things that I need to do every day, and it sets me up. And on the days that I don't do it, I don't feel normal. On the days that I don't do it, I feel as though I'm not as productive as I usually am. So that's the importance of routine. I'll give you an example, because I love talking in riddles. If you planted a tree, assuming that tree is your dream, and you planted a tree, but you need to go and water that tree every day. You going to water that tree every day, that's your routine. If you're able to repeat that over and over and over, it might be a year, it might be 2 years, but that tree eventually, guess what, it would grow. And that's how important routines are to your life. If you create a routine and you create, a sense of direction within your life, and you keep watering it every day by just going through the motions and going through that routine, eventually you get the breakthrough you're looking for. That's my belief anyways, and that's what definitely helps me stay focused, motivated, driven, you name it. Number two, it's a combination of like 2 things. For me, it's environment and activity. That massively helps my productivity as well, and helps me sustain a level of motivation that is just totally unmatched. So what I mean by that is, like, what do you surround yourself with? An example being, if you don't work well at home, then go and hire or go and get a shared office space. They're really not that expensive at all. That's one example. Another one being, for example, I kind of hate being in the same environment for a long period of time, because I feel like it dampens my spirit. And so when I need that motivational kick, when I need that extra productivity, what I usually do is I'll do something like I'll go for a hike. I love sceneries, right? Sceneries is what keeps my soul happy. So I do things like that. I incorporate it into my week. I'll go down to the lake, I'll travel, I'll pick up a new hobby that I'm extremely excited about. Then it kind of helps me reset, and then I can get back on track. And also, for some of you watching this video, you're probably in a situation where you can't physically change that environment. What you need to do is, if you can't, let's say you're in a dead-end job, and you physically can't change it because you need the salary and so on and so forth, mentally take yourself away from there. Mentally start thinking of something bigger. Start thinking of what your next steps are. Don't get confined to just that physical place that you're in, because that's how complacency kicks in. And I'll give you an example. A lot of you watching this video probably all worked retail. When you work in retail and there's that particular guy that's been there for 17 years and in the same position, that's how it happens, because they weren't able to take themselves away mentally from that dead-end job, and eventually their soul became comfortable with it, and it just squashed their dreams, it squashed their productivity, it squashed their motivation. So that's that as well. But honestly, man, for those of you, especially those of you that actually live in these crowded cities where, like, you know, there's not much to do other than party and so on and so forth, you've got to figure out other ways to engage your brain. That definitely helps you with breaking that stream of thought, breaking a cycle, and just helps you seeing something bigger than where you presently are, if that makes any sense. And that's that for number 2. On to number 3. So this one, if I'm honest with you, it's my favorite thing, like literally my favorite thing. And I'm going to show you a few bits within it. So number 3 is resilience, right? I have a crazy amount of resilience. And sometimes friends or my mum think, like, how do you go through it? Like, sometimes my mum knows I might have something going on in the background and she believes I'm under stress. But she looks at me or she speaks to me and she thinks, like, how are you managing? How are you coping? Like, how doesn't this actually totally break you down? And for me, that's resilience. Resilience is being able to go through fire and dance in it, being comfortable in the heat. With that being said, I must say some of us take losses in the worst way. You know, for me, I've never been able to comprehend that, because if I've done it already, then I can do it. And if I can vision it, even if I haven't done it, then again, I can do it. So why should I take a loss too harshly? But also, very importantly, I live my life by a very simple rule, right? I'll show you. I draw it. I don't know if you can see it. If it focuses, I call it the success circle. And it's literally just a circle. So for those of you wondering what that literally was, everything that I can control, I write inside a circle. And anything not in my control, it's all out of the circle. And guess what? I do not give even 1 second of thought to anything outside the circle. An example being how someone treats me, I don't care. People's opinion, I don't care. Just certain things that I physically can't influence, I do not care about it. It's not in the circle. So that way, I start to focus my energy. I start to concentrate my effort on things that I can actually impact, on things that makes a real difference in my life. So that's that with regards to success circle. And equally, I'm very quick to congratulate myself, and I'm very quick to enjoy every single level that I'm in, which, if I'm honest with you, just shapes my whole thought, it shapes my whole being, and just helps me be more productive. It helps me feel like I am achieving, because I feel like sometimes we're very quick to have this dream, right? Maybe we're here, we have this dream, but even when we get here, we're not very appreciative of here. We're not very understanding of here. We're just zoning out, because, you know, what you really want is here. And I think that's just a recipe for disaster, because before you know it, you kind of lose track of your progress, you lose track of your successes. So when no one's giving me a pat on the back, I give myself a pat on the back. So that's another way I stay motivated. That's another way I keep performing, outperforming previous targets, previous goals, and so on and so forth. Oh, by the way, and I set goals. Like, I set financial goals, I set non-financial goals. That's massive as well for me. On to the next one, number 4. I'm a big believer that your mind is only as good as what you expose it to. An example being, if you spent your whole day scrolling through social media, you'd realize that you're probably, you know, thinking in a certain way, and you're probably putting yourself under a certain type of stress. Me, on the other hand, my number 4 is I read. I'm not a huge reader. I buy a lot of books, but due to my routine, I struggle at the moment, but I do read a fair amount. But also, what I do a lot more of is I watch certain sort of videos and stuff. So I would watch things like real estate shows in the US, because I'm massive into properties. I would watch things like the financial market and, you know, videos around that, or content around that. I would watch things like mind enhancement videos. So let's say if I'm doing work and I need a break from the work I'm doing, I'll usually just go on YouTube and I'll watch those sorts of videos. And for me, I think that's been a huge factor in me being able to stay on track, stay motivated, not get sidetracked by all the noise. Because on this journey, there's always noise. There's noise from social media, there's noise from friends, there's gossip, there's this, that. I don't care about none of that. Literally, just tunnel vision. And when I need a break, I go into one of those things, which is also an educational tool for myself. With that being said, I also practice reading very early in the morning. So when I wake up, I usually read. I'm not a fast reader either. So even if I've picked up, let's say, 10 pages in the morning, 5 pages in the morning. It opens my brain and it sets me going on the right path. So that's that. And on to the final one in terms of how I keep motivated. Hope you're here and hope you've subscribed. If you're watching this video up until this point, then thank you. Let's keep going. Networking. So I have a select amount of friends that I keep close, but also I have a network of people that I probably don't even call them friends, but I call them great people. Like, we would pick up the phone and we would have great conversations, usually about business. You know, we'll share ideas, they'll pick my brain, I'll pick theirs. And honestly, I couldn't stress how important that is. So that's why when people call me and they want to gossip on the regular stuff, I don't really pay no mind to it. Because for me, it just doesn't enhance my soul in any way, shape or form. But when someone is just as ambitious as I am, and you know they're looking to do great things in their own field or within their own world, whatever it is, I'm just excited about it. And I'm a learner as well. I'm a sponge. I like to soak information. So bear in mind, I love to soak information. If I was watching social media all day, I'd be soaking information. But bearing in mind that I'm reading, I'm keeping a good network of friends around me. The only information I can ever soak is just positive information, and that translates into success. That translates into, you know, creating real tangible things, whether that's assets, whether that's businesses, and that's my 5 tip. And a final one, which is kind of linked back to resilience, to show you the importance of resilience. I'm going to tell you a quick story and then we'll end the video on that note. So when I'm a late bloomer. What I mean by that is I wasn't very quote unquote intelligent when I was in my younger years, that being primary school and early secondary, but I just got smarter and I got smarter and smarter. I'll tell you one real thing about resilience. My maths GCSE, I'd done that 4 times before I actually passed. I passed on the 5th attempt, but I said to myself, I'm not getting defeated by a maths GCSE. I used to be terrified of numbers. I saw numbers and literally shivers would just go right down my spine. But now I run my own businesses, I chew up numbers, I love numbers, I'm always on my calculator, I'm always on paper working out numbers. But it shows the real sense of resilience. I could have given up on the 1st attempt, 2nd, 3rd or 4th. I passed on the 5th attempt. 5th attempt. But that's resilience for you. Anyways, enjoy your weekend. It's Easter Sunday. Happy Easter. Love you guys, man. Honestly, keep sharing my videos, keep subscribing, and I'll catch you next week. I've got an interesting content coming up next week as well. So I think a lot of you will benefit from that. But anyways, enjoy your week and we'll close on that note.